Good evening. It's wonderful to be back with you again, isn't it, Ronnie?
Indeed it is. And in a packed programme tonight, we had hoped to introduce you to Miss West Indies in her knitted bikini, but just before the show, someone pulled a loose thread and unravelled the Bermuda Triangle.
But we'll be meeting an hydraulics specialist who fell into an electroplating tank full of chrome today and got his pumpernickeled.
And I'm sorry to say that Flexo, the nude contortionist, can't be with us either. At rehearsals today, he took a step backwards and stood on his dignity.
And at Kilmarnock today, a man who had bought 2 packets of Woodbines appeared before the Procurator Fiscal charged with panic buying.
Turville Dinge, the celebrated goldfish fancier, died last night. This morning, a few friends attended a private ceremony and sang sea shanties, after which they flushed him down the lavatory.
Traffic warden Dymphna McCorkadale had her hat run over by a steamroller today. She tried booking the driver for speeding, but was told that the roller only went at 8 miles an hour, so she booked him for having 3 bald tyres.
Dublin police today raided the studio of Ireland's most brilliant art forger and took away 33 canvases, all signed by Pisarco. Finally, the National Health Service's money-saving scheme for Harley Street starts tomorrow. There will only be 1 stethoscope for the whole street, but all doctors will have a party line. But now a sketch featuring Mr. Ronnie Corbett, who used to be a model husband, but recently took up with a Cindy doll. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Now, sir, good evening.
Good evening.
What would you like to start with, sir?
I'm going to have my shoes repaired, if that's possible, is it? Stitchings all come away along the side there. Same on this one.
Yes, I see, sir, yes.
Would that be possible?
Sole and heel, would that be, sir?
Yes, that would be nice, thank
Yes,
you.
how would you like them, sir? Leather or rubber or composite? What would you like, sir?
I think I'll have leather.
Yes, the leather is very good today, so yes. What would you like to follow? Would you like a nice pair of pyjamas? So you see, we have a nice polka dot. Do we have the stripe today?
No, I'd rather gone off pyjamas.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, they like, I like them, but they don't like me.
Yes, I do.
It's fine. No, I'll have...
Why don't you try the sauna bath, sir? Sauna and massage we have there. Or a little 3-card brag, you see, you could have.
Yeah.
We've got the car wash and oil changeover. Frontal lobotomy, they're all good today, really.
But I'm going to be terribly awkward.
Yes.
Have something that's not on the menu, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Do you think you could rustle me up a haircut?
Certainly, sir, yes. Do you a nice haircut. Take 20 minutes, of course. Is that all right,
That's
sir?
all right, I don't mind.
Yes, how would you like it done, sir?
I think I'll have it, sort of medium.
Medium haircut, very good, sir. Yes. What would you like with it? Now, a bit of Tchaikovsky, perhaps, would be nice? Or tango lessons, a bit of flower arrangement, that's nice. Origami, what about that? That's in season at the moment.
No, I'm just going to have, I'll just have a round of golf, I think.
Round of golf.
And, can you give me a few, sort of farmyard impressions on the side?
Yes, I'll bring you a selection, sir, yes, certainly. What about dessert, sir?
Pudding. Now, let me see. I had the hang gliding the last time, didn't I?
Yes, I think you had it the day before yesterday, if my memory serves me incorrectly, sir.
Yes, very nice. Rather sickly, but very nice. I know what I'm going to have. I'm going to have a small blonde, if that's possible.
Small
well, not necessarily blonde, but sort of 38, 24, 36 type.
Yes, certainly. I've just seen a couple in the kitchen, so they're fresh as a daisy. They came up from the coast this morning. I'll pick you one out if you like. Just leave it to me, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I say, waiter,
Yes.
is there any chance of a little bite to eat?
Oh, well, you've picked an awkward time, lunchtime. The chef's awfully busy, so I'll see if I can get you a cheese sandwich, something like that. Good evening. When they came to me and asked me to say some kind words about British Rail, frankly, I told BR to be off. Then they offered me 1,000 quid. I said, I'm not a man who can be bought. Then they offered me 2,000 quid. Good evening. British Rail is a wonderful institution. But we do have our problems. Now, one of them is passengers. Did you know that every second, 17 men, 13 and a half women, and a brown paper parcel get onto a train? And that 17 men and 13 women get off, though not necessarily with each other. Which only leaves half a woman and a brown paper parcel. And that's no good to anyone, is it? Be honest. Oh, I don't know, though. Another problem is the weather. Now, due entirely to unforeseen circumstances, winter has arrived this year. Yes, we've got more frozen points than the topless bar at the North Pole. This map here shows the lines that are affected by engineering works over this weekend. So if you're trying to go anywhere from anywhere, you will just have to go via somewhere else. And believe it or not, some people have even complained about British Rail food, saying it's not absolutely tip-top value. Well, I mean, look at this. That's a load of rubbish. Look at this. look at this cup of tea. I mean, have we doubled the price? Certainly we have not. Mind you, we have halved the cup. Now, look at this pie. I've had a letter. I'll read you a letter that I've had concerning this pie. Dear sir, all the way up to Glasgow, all they had in the buffet was a plastic knife and one individual beetroot pie. I couldn't even cut it. Yours, Arthur Fingers. Now, that's ridiculous. Nonsense. Nonsense. Look, I mean, here is the knife and here is the pie. I mean, look at that. And by the way, all complaints now go straight into our new British Rail suggestion box, which is, of course, automatic. There it is. Now, since we've installed our new streamlined ticket windows, many ungrateful travellers have complained that they don't like queuing an extra half hour just to get a ticket. They even claim that outside Victoria Station, ticket touts can get 10 quid for a single to Brighton. But it's no good complaining to the ticket clerk, of course, because as soon as he gets behind one of these windows... claiming Dicky Bird, you see. What about fares, I hear you ask? Well, British Rail are going to replace the existing fare structure with a very unfair structure. So, what about the new cheap tickets? Well, this one is a monster bestseller. It's called the Runabout Rover Away Day Senior Citizens Winter Break Special. For a one-armed old-age pensioner with a bicycling dog travelling daily between Bodmin and Arbroath, you'll get it for nothing. We'll keep on with our old favourites, of course. The Scots Away Day, you see, we have. There's that one. Or we have, of course, this one here for divorcing couples, the Go Away and Stay Away Day. And, of course, the mother-in-law special day return. The train doesn't stop and you wave her out of the window. Like, that's it. And, of course, then we have a couple of naughty ones. We have tired businessmen needing a weekend with their secretary. We have the My Wife Doesn't Understand Me weekend. Of course, all we have for the otherwise inclined, there's a nippy day return down to Portsmouth called Hello Sailor. Yeah. British Rail intend to maintain their standards. But now for the good news. Yes, after 100 years of research, we have perfected the robot porter. Now, let's have a look at him. There he is, you see? Now, let's try asking him a question. I say, my man, when is the next train to Slough? Don't ask me, mate. There we are, you see. Every bit as good as the real thing. Let's test it further. I say, my good man, I wonder if you could carry this small suitcase for me. But it doesn't end there. Here is a good word for commuters, scum. But for those bona fide travellers who hearken after a good old days of steam, we have developed this. Every 20 minutes, the guard will come into your compartment and blow soot and smuts into your eye. Like that. There it is. Now, you do your bit, and we'll do our bit, and we'll try to lose £100 million of your money every year. Do stop complaining, don't pull the communication cord while the train is standing in the station, and simply do what you're told whenever you see this sign. There we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, Manhattan Transfer.
No Yes, well, the fact is I never bother to wear any nowadays, you know, when it sits in the house.
I don't leave mine off, dear, if George's around.
Why not? Afraid he might tread on your bunion?
No, he's got this thing about bare feet, you know. Odour.
What, eau de cologne, you mean?
Yes, no. Well, yes, he does like eau de cologne on feet.
Oh, does he? That's funny. Sid likes tomato ketchup on tongue.
I often dab a little bit behind my ears for special occasions, you know.
What, tomato sauce?
No, dear, eau de cologne.
Oh, yeah?
It's meant to make you sort of energetic, you know. Or your partner, at least, energetic.
I'm worried about Sid's energy, you know.
Didn't know he had any, dear.
No, that's the trouble. Do you know he hasn't got enough to get up in the morning?
What do you put that down to, then?
Well, he says it's a world shortage of energy. Yeah, it's silly, isn't it? I mean, it's like his shirt.
What's up with his shirt?
Well, that's short as well. They don't put no tails on them these days, do they, eh? I've had to sew a hanky across the bottom to keep the draft out.
Very wise, too. Wouldn't do to have him catch cold, would it?
No, or to blow his nose on the bus.
You know what you ought to do about his energy problem, don't you?
What?
Shoot him.
Shoot him?
Shoot him at the doctor's, dear. Get some professional advice.
Oh, I've already done all that. Oh, yeah, that's all done. Yeah, he's put him on monkey glands, love. Yeah, he's being completely rejuvenated throughout.
Monkey glands? Does it work, then, dear?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He never stops eating nuts and bananas. Oh, look at the time. I must go and give him his medicine now.
Oh, yes. Where is he? Laying about up the bedroom?
No, he's swinging about up the tree.
Still on the nuts, are you?
Can't seem to give him up, George.
Yeah.
You been at the doctor, then?
Yes, I went up to see him. He can't help me, though. He says medical science ain't caught up with me yet.
Did he look at it at all?
Oh, he had a look at it, yeah. Prodded it about, you know. He even hit it with one of them little hammers. See
Ooh. No reaction at all?
No, not a twitch, no. He said if it was a car, he'd dump it. So it looks as if I'm stuck with my old knee after all.
Of course, knees have run in your family for years, ain't they?
Oh, yes. Lazy cartridges, you know, lethargic kneecaps. Yeah, they've been a curse of my family since time immemorial now.
Yeah. Which doctor do you see, then? Do you see the, the Indian one, do you see?
I don't know which one it was. His name was Ram Jam Butty.
No, I think he's the Irishman. I think it's the Indian fella's the other one. He come all the way from Calcutta.
Oh, really? No good phoning him in an emergency, then, is it?
I was nearly in India myself, you know, in the army. You know that?
Oh, yeah? What stopped you there?
Well, I had these feet.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I still have, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah.
And I was, they're down there somewhere, not far away, but they're down there. I was excused boots, you know, light duties.
Of course, I was in the war.
Well, so was I in the war.
I don't remember you.
Well, pretty fair, there were quite a lot of us, weren't there, eh?
Yeah, I don't remember your impression you made on the war effort, like.
Well, I said I was excused boots, wasn't I? I mean, you can hardly liberate Rome in plimsolls, can you? I mean, as soon as I received my call-up papers, I volunteered, mate. No mistake. Yeah, I did. I volunteered for the Guards.
The Guards? What, British Railways, you mean?
No, the real guards, yeah, guards.
What, Grenadier Guards? What, them great big tall strapping blokes?
Right.
Yeah.
I would have been in the guards and all. Had it not been for my eyes.
What was the matter with your eyes?
Too near the ground. You know why we didn't see each other so much during the war? You know why? Because you were in the Navy, weren't you? I was in the Army. Our leaves only coincided once, didn't it? That night we met Lily Need, didn't we? That's right.
Yeah.
See? That was the fact of it. I remember that, because I was dressed in my khaki and you were done up as a sailor.
I wasn't done up as a sailor. I was a sailor.
Never forget that dancing ball and all the girls with party dresses on. Eden Lil really stood out, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's because they were the only two wearing gas masks, weren't it? Come to think of it, you know, I think the war was responsible for my knee, you know. Hitler's got a lot to answer for you when you think about it, anyway. All my sorties into unoccupied Europe.
What are you talking about? You were stationed at the Navy depot in the Fulham Road.
You didn't believe that, did you? Not naive. That was just a ploy put out by naval intelligence.
No.
Yes, I was one of the cock-a-leaky heroes, I was.
You never said nothing.
Well, of course I didn't, because you'd have told Lil straight away, wouldn't you? Know what she's like. Been all round Berlin within a week, wouldn't it? I'll tell you something. I used to know the unknown warrior. I knew him. I used to play cards with him. He was a very good nap player, he was.
No. What was his name,
I
then?
can't tell you, can I? Unofficial secret act, isn't it?
Oh, cool. Well, all this new information, it's all coming to light. All these times you went missing, people said you were deserting. You were really, in fact, on a dangerous mission all the time.
Yes, of course I was.
Cool.
But to add authenticity to it, you see, they used to send military police round to my house, pretend to look for me, talking to Eden, all that, you know.
Oh, yeah, I remember. American military police, I remember that.
Americans? Were they?
American soldiers, sailors, all that, yeah.
Were they? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, it must have been combined operation, mustn't it?
Oh, loads of Americans, I remember that, yeah. Used to call your house the Alamo. Either the Texan drawl and a loft full of bubble gum.
Because he was still calling me buddy on coronation night. I must have a word with him about that.
Still, not half a cover-up. What an excellent cover-up. I mean, really had me fooled, you know that? I mean, then all that rumour about you committing suicide, that was all false, then, was it?
Well, of course he was false. I'm sitting here, ain't I?
Well, I never thought that. Never worked that out, no. Because, you see, when I was on manoeuvres in Basingstoke, I had a letter saying that during the Blitz, you were so scared, you shot yourself.
No, that wasn't right. That was a mistake, that was. Here, I must get home and talk to her. Here, I'll see you later.
Well, listen, wait a minute. Why would she say you shot yourself? You didn't.
She didn't say I shot myself. You know what terrible writing she's got? Send the next one in, will you, Miss Rennick?
Mr. Fanshawe?
Yes, that's right. Come in.
Come in. What? Into your office?
Yes, of course, yes.
Right. Honey, I just... Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. I realised I'm standing on your carpet. I'm sorry. I am standing on your carpet. I leave immediately if you
No,
don't mind.
come back here. Mr. Toady, isn't it?
That's right.
Come about a job, have you?
Oh, yes, sir. How observant of you. That's right, sir. Yes, I've come.
Well, do sit down, will you?
No, I'd rather not if you don't mind. I'd just stand here and grovel, if you don't mind.
All right, whatever makes you comfortable. Yes. Cigar?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I should have thought of that whenever I came in. Of course, have one, by all means.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to ask you a few questions, Mr. Toady. First of all, what do you think of my shoes?
Oh, they're absolutely magnificent, sir. I only hope that one day I can aspire to a pair of such grandeur and magnitude.
I haven't seen them yet, Toady. They're under the desk.
Oh, these shoes? Oh, they are wonderful, sir. They are really, wonderful. Oh, they taste absolutely delicious. They really are.
You can get up now. Have you got any references, Toady?
Well, I have this from my previous employer.
What's this?
It's an autograph.
Uriah Toady, my favourite bootlicker. I see. You've always been a bit of a bootlicker, have you?
Well, I like to think so, sir, yes.
Would you mind crawling around on the floor for a few moments?
Oh, that's wonderful. What a lovely carpet this is.
Well, then tell me about your education.
Well, sir, not much of an education. I mean, unless you count Cambridge. I mean, I just spent...
Cambridge. You went to Cambridge, did you?
Yes.
I went to Birmingham Polytechnic myself.
Oh, lucky you. Oh, dear. Oh, how I wanted to go to Birmingham Polytechnic. Oh, how I wanted a place there, but I ended up at measly old King's College.
Well, now, I take it you know what the Post is, do you, Tony?
Yes, sir, I do, yes, I do.
Yes, it's company, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
See?
sir, yes.
Yes, now, you look to me the most sycophantic, snivelling, weak-kneed sort of little swine that's ever come to me. And I take it that your heart is set on it, is
Yes,
it?
it is, indeed, sir.
Good. Well, it's my great pleasure to tell you that you failed.
Oh, thank you very much. That's absolutely terrific. I've failed?
Yes, failed, you pimply little smart aleck, because I'm absolutely tired of people saying yes to me all the time. Do you understand?
Yes, sir, yes,
There you
yes,
are,
sir,
you
yes,
see.
sir.
It's yes, all the time. If I hear one more person saying yes to me once more, I shall go stark, staring, raving mad. Do you
Yes, sir.
understand?
Yes, sir, yes, sir, of course, yes, sir.
Miss Rennick, show Mr. Tony out, please.
Yes, sir.
There you are, you see. She says yes. Even she says yes to me all the time. See what I mean?
Now, tonight, instead of a joke, I'd like to relate a rather amusing little incident that happened to me a couple of days ago. In fact, I was telling it to the other members of the cast here just before we came on, and laugh. Well, what if they didn't? I mean, it was understandable, really, because, to be honest, most of us here are a little bit upset at the moment over a nasty accident that took place this afternoon in the next studio. It was during a rehearsal, one of those big variety shows. The acrobat had just put on a pair of his tights, you know, and was doing a rather novel balancing act. And he was straddling a couple of high chairs, wondering whether or not to try and do the splits, when suddenly both chairs collapsed underneath him, and he was torn between two stools. It's very tragic, especially for his wife, you know, who's now trying to pick up the pieces. It's symptomatic, in a way, of how everything is falling into disrepair at the BBC. This seat, for example, I have to sit on, getting more uncomfortable every week. I told the producer this morning, I said, I've had enough. I said, there's an awkward little lump in this chair. He said, don't I know it? I said, now, look, there's no need for wit. It's not like you at all, I said. The solution is perfectly simple. I said, the cushion needs stuffing. And his reply is in the hands of my solicitor. However, I shouldn't really go on about our internal problems. It was a bit undiplomatic because tonight, being the last of the series, I'm pleased to say we have got the controller of BBC One in the audience. Come along for the free drinks afterwards, I suppose. I'm not going to tell you where the controller is sitting. No, I won't mention the balding head or the smell of the ready rubbed condor because she's awfully sensitive about it. No, that's not true. That was just a bit of comedy I threw in. The controller of BBC One is, in fact, a highly distinguished and important gentleman. Or so he keeps telling us. The reason I mustn't point him out is because he is sitting with his secretary, and she is a little shy, with coconuts to match. As a matter of fact, I've known our controller for a long time now because he was, when he was head of BBC or comedy, he was one of the first who put forward the idea of this show, The Two Ronnies, starring Ronnie Barker and Norman Wisdom. Everyone could see it wasn't quite right, so they held a very big meeting. It wasn't far off, mind you. So they held a very big meeting, and the top comedy producers, you know, the cream of the BBC, plus one or two old yogurts. And eventually my name came up as a replacement. The Two Ronnies, starring Ronnie Corbett and Norman Wisdom. Now, it was all, to be honest, it was very flattering, because at the time I was completely unknown, and I didn't even recognise my own face in the mirror. And work was thin on the ground. I remember around that time I was trying to earn a crust as a small-time male stripper. No, I used to do very cheap hen parties, you know. You've been at one or two, I think. And after they'd had all the food and drink, the climax of the evening, I used to leap out of a sausage roll. Then slowly strip down to my thermal underwear. It's quite erotic, actually. A lot of women used to jump up onto the stage and feel my muscles. The rest used to jump up and feel my pulse. That is really, by the way, and has nothing to do with the incident I set out to tell you about, which occurred the other night when I'd gone along to our local Jewish pub, the Kosher Horses, for a quick laugh. Now, I'd actually gone along more for business than pleasure because I was attending a sort of union meeting. It was the monthly meeting of the Surrey branch of the Amalgamated Union of Pint-Sized Comedians and Allied Titches. And all the pint-sized comedians were present, Arthur Askey, Charlie Drake, David Steele, all there. Now, when suddenly, in the middle of the meeting, I noticed right at the other end of the bar, a fellow walked into the pub carrying a crocodile. As I watched, he went up to the bar, he said, "Excuse me, but do you serve Scotsmen in this hostelry?" The barman said, "Certainly," he said. He said, "Well, you give me a pint of beer and 2 Scotsmen for the crocodile." Well, The barman, not wanting to cause a scene, poured a pint and handed over 2 Scotsmen who were sitting in the corner, whereupon the crocodile promptly ate them up. Well, 15 minutes went by, the chap came up and ordered again. He said, a pint of beer and 2 Scotsmen for the crocodile. Once again, the barman gave him the beer and called over 2 more Scotsmen who were in the other bar, wringing out their beer mats into the glass. And again, the crocodile just ate them up. Well, this went on for another hour or so until finally the chap came back again. He said, same again, pint of beer and 2 Scotsmen for the crocodile. The barman said, I'm sorry, we're clean out of Scotsmen. We've got none left. We've eaten them all. Then, to my horror, his eyes travelled up the bar to the table where my party was sitting. He said, I'll tell you what, though. He said, we haven't got any Scotsmen. He said, but do you think he'd fancy Ronnie Corbett, Arthur Askey and Charlie Drake? The chap said, shh, for God's sake, whatever you do, don't start him on the shorts.
Now, if you want a great career, then come on here. The girls will cheer, my lads. And if you're fond of fun and beer, then come on here. Get in the gear, my lads.
Come and join the army, ever so spick and span. In the British Army, a man can be a man.
So if you want a life that's grand, the He-Man band are in demand, my lads. The sergeant majors need the band. They understand. They hold your hand, my lads.
Come and join the army, golly, it's jolly and Aldershot. In the British Army, Catterick's going to pot.
In the Army Catering Corps, the Catering Corps knows what it's for.
We're marching twos and in petty four.
It's jam up some fairy cakes, so come and join the corps.
You'll find lots of men like to drill with the brain when they're home on the range with the rifle. But here in the Corps, we get thrills by the score, doing things with the bun and the trifle.
We will find a book, and the book that we cook by was wrote by the great Mrs. Beaton. But here in the mess, they suggest our address should be changed to Rock Hall or Nuneaton. Soldiers come in platoons for our 50 duffel prunes, and brigades form a queue when it's curry vindaloo.
Off they march double quick, and it really goes to show that a good British curry keeps the army on the go.
Oh, we did a Buffy on Saturday night. Terribly smart and terribly bright. Majors at the time of their life, especially with the brigadier's wife, who was getting quite amorous on champagne. She likes a little bit now and again. Married to rank, felt like a tank and remarkably Salisbury plain. There was Colonel Kettering wearing his furs, marked distinctly his and hers. Lady Felicity earning applause, winning a raffle and losing her drawers. Sat on the fork and dropped the spoon into the large décolletage of the brigadier's wife and soon they were having a great big slap bang huge success. The officers there, they got one hell of a mess, and the colonel left the party in a small black dress. What a terribly gay success.
Now I'm a popular pastry cook, my puddings are ever so light. There's one little dish the girls all wish for every Saturday night. It's roly-poly, 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 just a little bit more. A sailor went sailing around the world and came back to the coast. As he got off the yacht, I asked him what it was he missed the most. It's roly-poly, roly-poly, it's roly-poly, roly-poly, he'd been hankering for. Nellie was fighting fit when she was 103. A man from the telly, he asked old Nellie, said, what she kept, said she. It's roly-poly, roly-poly, that's a day for sure. A roly-poly, roly-poly, till I'm 104.
We don't go out of manoeuvres much, our march is rather dire.
But our meringues have a lovely touch the colonels all admire.
When the bugler blows his trumpet, we'll ignore it, he can lump it.
We'll stay home and toast our trumpets round the kitchen fire.
There's lots of praise for our canapes, they're what the gourmet seek.
And people say that our pork patty's got flavours quite unique.
For Andy Craddock starts to waver. Egon Ronnies says the flavour drives him mad.
The kitchen cat's been missing for a week.
It's team the one for all the squad. We bowled it up in bats. A lovely brew called New and True. The soldiers call it Nats.
In the army, life's enough to drive you mad. The army keeps record. It's Haddock chips and Navy chips, and in the RAF they're making the most of beans on toast till jet lag makes them deaf. In the Navy, they've got cockles in the gravy, but it don't affect us, for we're in the catering court. We're rather short of privates in the catering court.
The officers will have to rough it. The colonel says we got a roast, one chicken more.
I'll go and tell the brigadier to start.
There's what the law.
You'll never get a crafty carver.
I've really got to bake a cake before lights out.
I think I'll try a tart when I've had supper. We've got, what have we got, what have we got?
Rissoles.
What have we got?
Rissoles. Feed and pat and run, each one half a pound. Our rissoles are renowned. So when they boo our Irish stew, we'll say you too.
We made a hash of bangles and mash, it's true.
And so that's the reason when you ask us what's upon the menu,
We say rissoles and the best of luck to you.
Well, that's all we have time for in this series, but before we leave you, a few items of late news.
Miss Raquel Welch, in an American TV interview today, talked about the advantages she'd had in her acting career. She admitted that her bust had opened doors for her.
Latest bulletins say that the porter who sat on a red-hot cinder at King's Cross Station is making good progress. He was right on time as he steamed through Newcastle.
And happy news tonight from Lord George Davidson Circus. The tattooed lady is pregnant, and both she and her husband, the India Rubber Man, are very happy. They don't mind if it's a boy or a girl as long as it fits into the canon.
Here's some late football news. The St John's Ambulance 11 and Hypochondriacs United game has just gone into the 265th minute of injury time.
And popping through your letterbox tomorrow morning will be a little message from the post office promising you a much faster delivery service in 1976.
Finally, there was an ugly moment today at the Kilburn Biograph Cinema when Seamus Killick applied for the job of projectionist. He was asked to fill in a questionnaire, so he went outside and punched the doorman.
And next series, in a new feature entitled The Greatest Shock of My Life, we shall be hearing from the one-legged Scotsman in a kilt about the time he was standing in the lampshade department at Heels. And an assistant came round putting in light bulbs.
Until then, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night.